Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. This is the ninth video of our Basics of HR module series. In this video, we are going to learn about the salary structure of a company. To design the salary structure of a company, we first have to go to the HR module, then we have to go to the payroll section, and finally we have to open the salary structure. You may see there are already two salary structures which are already generated. These salary structures are generated by me only. Okay, so now we will start building a new salary structure for the company one by one and with a step-by-step process. So before we start creating a salary structure for a company, I would strongly recommend, if you haven't watched our video of salary components, which is the chapter 8 of this HR module, please go and check out that video because we have created multiple salary components for the company. Okay. So now let's just get started. So first we have to click on this plus icon to create a new salary structure. Then we have to name our salary structure. Okay, we can name it anything as per our convenience. As we already have two salary structure in this company, I will name it as new salary structure _3. Okay. Then the next is company. Company is by default selected. Now the next is the letterhead. Okay, we can configure the letterhead of the company as we do in our multiple documents in ACCU360 ERP. Okay. Then we have an option of active. Okay, we can set salary structure as active or inactive by clicking on this no button. Okay. Then we have to select the frequency of the payroll. We can select from fortnightly, bi-monthly, weekly, daily or monthly. Okay, I'm keeping it as monthly because in most of the company the salary is accrued or due on the monthly basis. Okay. Then we have an option to select the salary slip based on the timesheet. Okay, as we are not covering this in this particular video series, we will leave it behind. Okay, we will get a rough idea. By this option, we can generate our timesheet. We can generate our salary slip based on the timesheet submitted by our employees. Okay. Then we have this option of leave encashment amount per day and the maximum benefit amounts. We will leave this two option blank for this particular video. Okay. Then here we have an option to select from earning and deductions. Okay. First we will add some earnings and then we will add some deduction, and finally we will submit this particular salary structure, and in the next video we will learn how to assign this salary structure and generate the payroll and the salary slips for the particular employee. Okay. So now let's just add the first item, which is the gross salary. Okay. So we have added our first item, which is gross salary. Now what we have to do is we have to define a formula for this particular component in the salary structure. As we have selected the gross salary as our statistical component, we do not have to worry that it might get added in the salary. Okay. But we have to mention on which basis the software will calculate the gross salary of a particular employee. Correct. So what we will do, we will define a formula for it. So we can write the formula here, or we can expand it, and here in the amount based on formula option we can define the formula for the particular gross salary component. Okay, so let's suppose we will add a formula which is bracket, again a bracket, then base is defined as the base salary which we are going to offer to our employees. Okay, then we have to mention divide option. Okay, then we will divide this base from on the basis of the total working days. Okay, so please keep in mind the naming rules which we have learned in the naming series. Okay, so here we will write base upon total working days. Okay, then we will close the bracket and multiply this whole with the payment days. Okay, so payment underscore days. Now what this particular formula means? Okay, this formula particularly means that the base salary of a particular employee will be dependent on the total working days and the payment days in a particular month, or which we can say the particular payroll period which we have selected above. Okay, then we will close it by clicking on any empty space. Then we will add our another salary component. Okay, so as our gross salary is our statistical component, we can use the gross salary to define formulas for other salary components. Okay, so let's suppose we will add another salary component which is basic. Okay, now we want the basic to be the 50% of the gross salary to the employee. Okay, so now what we have to do is we have to again define the formula for this particular basic component. Okay, so here again we will click on this downward arrow, and in the downward arrow we will go down and select the amount based on formula option. If we want our salary components to be calculated as per the formula mentioned by us, we have to check this option. Okay, now what we will do is we will mention the formula, but this time the formula is a bit different. Why? Because we have to mention the abbreviation of the particular gross salary. Okay, so what was the abbreviation for our gross salary? It was GS. Okay, so here what we will do, here we will write GS. Okay, as we want the 50% of the gross salary. Then we will add a multiply sign, and here we will add 0.50, which is 50%. Okay, then we will close it by tapping on you can see on any empty space. Then we will add our third component. Okay, so now our third component would be our HRA. Okay, so HRA is the house rent allowance which the companies offer to the employees for meeting the house rents. Now generally the HRA is the 40% or the 50% of the basic pay. Okay, so now what we have to do is we have to again mention the formula for the HRA, and in the formula we will write it as 40% of basic. Okay, so as we want the 40% of basic, we need to see the abbreviation for our basic. Okay, so the abbreviation for basic is B. Okay, so here we will write B multiply sign, and then we will write 0.40. Okay, So that's how software will understand that it has to be computed on the 40% of the basic pay. Okay. Now we will add 2 or 3 allowances more. Then we will move on to our deduction part. Okay. Now the next component we are going to add is conveyance allowance. Okay. It is also a very popular allowance in the companies, which is given to the employees for managing the conveyance to up down to the office, or we can say to the company. Okay. So now we will mention the formula for the conveyance allowance. Now conveyance allowance is a thing which is dependent on the, we can say, the working days of in the company. Like if an employee is not coming to the office, why he would require the conveyance allowance? Correct. So what we are going to do is we will mention the same formula which we have mentioned for our gross salary. Okay. So what we will do, we will just go to the gross salary and we will copy this formula. Okay. And here we will mention the same formula. We have to check this amount based on the formula option. Now what will happen? It will also calculate on the base. But wait a minute. If it will be calculated on the base, it would be equal to our gross salary, but we don't want that. Okay. So we will mention a particular amount instead of base here. Okay. So let's suppose the maximum conveyance allowance which our company offer is 1600 per month. So we will mention 1600 here. Okay. So that's how our software will understand that the 1600 should be divided by the total working days in a month, which is our payroll period, and we will multiply to the payment days on which the employee is coming to the office. Okay. So you now can understand the formulas are very important while, you can say, design a particular salary structure. Okay. So you have to be very specific about your formulas while designing the salary structure. You can also take help from our ACCU360 ERP consultants to design and implement ACCU360 ERP in your company. Okay. Now we will move to our next salary component. Our next salary component is our special allowance. Okay. So the special allowance is given to the employees. Like if we do not want to give it any particular reason for the allowance, we will mention it as a special allowance. Okay. Now we want that the special allowance should be given to the employees after calculating the basic HRA and conveyance allowance. Okay. And from which component we can use it and it will not show in the salary slip? Again, we will use the gross salary. Okay. So what we will do in this step, we will mention the formula. Okay. The formula is again very different from any of the above formulas. Why? Because in this particular formula, we will mention only the abbreviations of the above components. Okay. So what we will do, we will again go here and mention amount based on formula. Now here we will write the formula. So what would be the formula? The formula would be the gross salary minus, then we will open a bracket, and in the bracket we have to mention the basic plus HRA plus our conveyance allowance. Okay. So what we have done, we have just mentioned the abbreviation of the particular allowances, and the software will understand which allowance we are talking about here. Okay. Now the next is the employer PF. Okay. So the employer PF is also given to our employees. Okay. But it is not directly given to the employees. It is, you can say, given deposited to the government authorities, and the government authorities will invest on the behalf of that particular employee. Now the PF has multiple rules and regulation depending on the country, but we cannot cover all the cases of PF in multiple countries, correct? So what we will do, we will here learn a generic way of mentioning the PF. Okay. So what we will do, we will select the employer PF E, which we have created in our previous video. Then we have to again go to the drop down menu. Then in the drop down menu, we have to mention the formula for the PF. Okay. So what we gonna do, we will mention the formula as the basic multiply by 0.12, which is the PF limit in India. It is also based on the certain conditions. I will show you the condition also in this video only. Okay. So what we will do, we will mention this formula. But as you know, this PF should not be part of the salary slip, because in the salary slip we will show only those components which we are giving to the employee in hand, correct? So we have to check this option, do not include in the total. Okay, because it would not be the part of the total of the salary slip which we are generating for the employees, correct? So this option is really important, because it is the employer's contribution, not the employee's contribution, correct? So now we will click on any random place to close it. Now what we will do, we will save this salary structure. Okay, and I will show you a conditional formatting for this employer's PF. Okay. So in the new salary structure, I have already created the conditions for the employer PF. You can see here I have mentioned the condition that the provident fund applicable, and it should be if the salary is basic salary is greater than equal to 15,000, correct? So that's how you can also mention the conditions for the particular salary components in your company. Okay, you can take a screenshot of this if you want to mention this condition in your PF calculation also. Now what we will do, we will go back and complete our salary structure. Okay. Now the next thing is we have to start adding the deductions. Okay. So we have created a deduction salary components in the previous video. So as we also want a statistical component here also to calculate the salary, we have created the gross salary _1, which is the statistical component for the, you can say, deductions part. Okay. Now what we will do, we will add the provident fund of the employee. Okay. So the employee provident fund should be shown to the employee because it is his contribution. Okay. So what we will do, we will select the provident fund here, and in the formula we will mention amount based on the formula, and in the formula again we will write the same formula, which is basic multiply by 0.12. Okay, but this time we do not click this option because we want this part should be deducted from the employee's salary itself. Correct? Now the next and the final component we are going to add is the employer's contribution towards PF, because it's a deduction also. Correct? So what we will do, we will same copy paste this formula, and in the drop down we will, okay, it's already checked. Now we have to check this option because it should not also become a part of the total itself. Correct? So our salary structure is now ready. Now we can click this right tick to save and this lock button to permanently submit our new salary structure. Correct? So here you can see our new salary structure is also created. You can use multiple combinations and you can say various salary components according to the norms and the regulation of your company. But for this video we will keep it till here. Okay, now let's just go back to the home page. Thank you for watching today's video. We hope you find it very helpful and informative. Make sure to stay tuned for more episodes in the Basics of HR module with ACCU360 ERP series. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Till then, thanks a lot for watching.